And welcome back, everybody, to Grand Tactician, the Civil War. This is the Confederate campaign, started in 1861. In this episode, Union forces in Maryland try to hold Baltimore as they give battle to forces under Beauregard in that theater. You've got that and a whole lot more in this next episode of Grand Tactician, the Civil War. Here we are, April 27th, 1862. Albert Sidney Johnston's of the Army of the West under Albert Sidney Johnston is trying to roll up the Union lines along the Mississippi as he has won several battles along the banks of the river. We've got two more Army Corps, it looks like, of the Union still on the banks. Although Johnston wanting to call in reinforcements from Hood's Corps, who hasn't seen much action in this campaign along the river. But Hood has been slow to get to this position as Price, along with Buckner and now Blanchard's St. Louis division, have done most of the fighting, including Wheeler too. So they've seen a lot of action and would like to have the fresh reinforcements coming, but Hood's readiness has fallen into the orange zone and he is slow to move, and we are reluctant to press on the attack. Joe Johnston has gotten his two corps in northern Kentucky, building depots and setting up a base of operations for a possible invasion into southern Ohio and Indiana. Cincinnati looks like a possible target as there are small towns that have gone over to the Confederacy here in southern Indiana. Johnston's going to build a fortified position along the Kentucky River in front of Harrodsburg. And then the other two corps, Archer and Armistead, are building depots in Lexington and Louisville. I believe the Army of Minnesota has retreated away from Frederick as Beauregard's army is trying to secure Baltimore, but it does look like the Union might be setting up for an attack. We're going to push forward with Lee's Corps to get into a better supporting position. That leaves Magruder to defend Washington, D.C. So strategically, although the Union as a nation is still supporting the war, their morale is way low at 52. And their morale of armies is starting to suffer as well. But they still have the manpower advantage and actually are widening the gap on manpower as we try to keep up. We have 233,000 men in arms. We do not have much more in volunteers though. Let's raise recruitment up a tick. All right, let's move on to the next day, April 27th. And there is Army contact now. But Beauregard is able to bring his entire force pretty much. Plus, I think the help of the Army of Shenandoah also. Major General Adolph Hare, commanding general of the Army of the Potomac. He's an Alabamian. The Union will have 43,000 men. Although we have to wait for reinforcements, it looks like, as it's Ewell's Corps that will be engaged with about... So on the start of the battle, there should be about 23,000 for the Union against our 18,000 under Ewell, with most of the reinforcements, with a large number of reinforcements coming in 5 or so hours. So Battle of Baltimore, April 27th, 1862. Our scouts report the enemy is near Baltimore, Maryland, and our army is to prepare for battle. We are the defenders in this position, so the initiative is, and the burden of the offensive goes to the Union. The enemy army is green, and the morale is reported to be confident. So most reports sound like the Union troops, although they outnumber us, are very raw recruits. So we'll deploy our 3 divisions under Ewell in kind of around 3 strong points. One around the Emory Chapel, one over here by the Seldom farm. I believe the Union's either going to come from the north here or from the east. There's a chance they might come. No, there's really no. They could come from Bladensburg Road, but that still leaves us here. We have the victory objectives here along the Blogden Mill Road, and Ewell put his headquarters at the Emory Chapel. We have 87 engineering points. We don't even need that many. So Jackson's going to entrench in a very strong position here. Same thing with Vaughn's division. He's also got fences, natural fencing, and take the Emory House, and Wilcox will defend the fence. Vaughn only has 2 brigades though. All right, here's our final deployment for the beginning of the battle. We've got kind of this salient here that we've formed, trying to avoid any surprises. I'd be surprised if the Union somehow managed to march undetected through Blagden's Mill Road, but we did set up some skirmishers under Walton, our reserve brigade here on our right. I do feel like the right and center are going to be where the attacks are. We can pull a brigade off of Jackson, or Sibley can come over to support if need be while we wait for reinforcements. I think this is an easily defensible position while we wait. The Union only has their own 20,000 or so soldiers. They do outnumber us at the start, but they don't have their full force either and are waiting for reinforcements, so our reports have led us to believe. Suppose we have left this area undefended and as a victory point, they could try to go for Pierce's Mill and gain this high ground area here. According to the victory bar, they may actually have 28,000 men to start. All right, let's begin the battle. Watch for Union movements. We might actually have to send Sibley and detach him maybe to scout around our extreme flanks. So if we don't spot the enemy in like an hour or so, we may end up sending Sibley out on a scouting mission. We have Cox Corps arriving in 10 hours. Hampton's division arriving in 5. Lee about an hour later. And then Stewart's cavalry maybe 20 hours later. This might be a 2-day battle just because we're already starting around noon. And neither side has its full force. Federal morale is very high at 70. Now again, we get a morale negative modifier because of being still technically in Union territory. Partly cloudy, 59 degrees is the weather. We are earning victory points for holding our objectives. Still no sign of the enemy. We're going to detach Sibley. Actually want to scout around the Milk House Ford Road. Oh, there we go. We've spotted the enemy. All right, so Sibley has spotted the Union troops along the Milk House Ford Road. I should have made a more defensible position here right at the Emory House. We'll readjust our lines. Walton will come over here. Bryan will defend over here. We're going to reposition our guns. I think we're going to call up Jackson too. And Jackson's going to leave one brigade. And we're going to bring Wingo with us. Union troops already insubordinate. Could have done a little bit better. I could have set up some pre-made fortifications along the Emery house. And along this hill, we could have just moved our troops. We didn't have to man them. We could have just moved our troops into that position, though. Because now I got to move Brian out of... To get a good firing position, I got to move Brian out of the entrenchments. But it kind of works. We can kind of hit... Almost like we can hit these units on their flanks as they start marching along the road. Kemper got into position really quick. Well, it looks like they're charging. The Union Federal troops are going to charge Jones's fortified position. Or they're going to get right into close range combat. They have the deadly volley modifier. So Shaler Brigade of the Union, Neal, Palmer, and Reynolds. So another brigade is spotted. Winecoop's Brigade, which I don't think is commanded by him anymore. Although we are in a very good defensive position on Jones's brigade, he is suffering quite a bit of casualties. Let's see if Kemper can't get in close range shot on Shaler's brigade there. So Brian deploys skirmishers. We want to slow the advance and the reinforcements to Shaler. Oh, very good. I'm pleasantly surprised that the Union is actually attacking in two spots along my line. So I was just about to pull Pickett towards the center, but now I need to hold him right here as there are artillery there. That means I need to pull Clark over, as it looks like a brigade under Crittenden is forming up to cross the stream here. Doesn't look like they're large batteries. Patterson's artillery, 4 guns. They're more like sections there. 3 guns. Okay, so we'll see how much more is coming on our right flank. We might have to pull early over too. We'll leave the guns there. Actually, we'll push Sibley back on our left flank. It is 4 in the afternoon already. So there's not a lot of daylight for this attack. So we should be able to hold out until then, and then our reinforcements will be here. They got a lot, though. They're attacking with the bulk of their force for sure in our center. Jones is taking a lot of casualties, though. Looks like that Shaler's Brigade, 1st Brigade, 3rd Division Union Army has taken more, though. We are currently in a minor defeat. We've actually lost 300 men to their 450, so it's not... They've been able to concentrate quite a bit of fire on us. Pickett's morale is good. He hasn't come under severe fire yet. We got to be concerned that Jones's brigade might break. We are pushing back Shaler's brigade, it looks like. I think we'll order Jones to fall back, and then Wingo will take over that position. Always tricky trying to fall back in the face of enemy fire. Alright, now they're falling back. Shaler's brigade, though, taking a lot of casualties as well. You can see Union courier giving them orders. Oh, Jones. Okay, Wingo. Wingo losing confidence. Unit is cut off, so Jackson is out of command range. So Union guns trying to break through the fortifications around Pickett's brigade. As a percentage of our force, we're actually suffering more casualties. And Wingo's actually pushed back Shaler's brigade. So even though we've suffered quite a bit of casualties, we have... I'm actually going to order Pickett to take these guns. Because Crittenden looks like he's coming to reinforce the Union center. Magruder has arrived. So he arrives on our right. Early is also available to help defend the Emory Chapel. So we're not going to push the attack here. We're going to wait for nightfall and then Pickett trying to capture these guns. We're actually able to capture some of the guns. It does not look like the Union is obliged to push forward with their attack so late. Lee arrives also, so get our reinforcements into position. All right, so it is the end of the day. Troops are resupplied. Sherman arrives. Cavalry brigade or corps, or that crossroads just means he's the enemy probably. Hancock's corps also arrives. We are still considered the defenders. Now we cannot go in this deployment zone. Cox corps has 31,000 men. Overall, though, it's a very poorly trained corps. So we'll conclude this portion of the battle at this moment as our reinforcements arrive. Lee, Magruder, we will set them up. And on the next episode, we will conclude the Battle of Baltimore. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a like on the video if you did. Leave a comment or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do appreciate your time. I will see you on the next one.